I'm going to talk about some very useful commands in Maya for poly modeling. And the first thing I want to talk about is extrude. This is a very important command in Maya that I use a lot all the time. And this is how you shape your models. You correct the extra polygon face and the extra vertex, and then edit the shape into the shape that you want. Okay. So let's create a cube first, and scale it up. Okay. And when you want to extrude something, for example, I want to extrude face, I have to go to face mode. So I right click and select face mode. Then I select one of the face. Of course, you can select multiple face like this, but this time I just extrude one. Okay, I just should show you how to extrude a face. So I click single face here, and I go to the modeling mode, add a mesh, and extrude, and click it. Then you see a manipulator showing like this. There are 3 axes you can extrude. You can extrude it along axis, X axis, or Y axis, or Z axis. And usually I just drag the blue one, which is the Z axis, to extend the face and make an extra thickness like this. Okay. Then let's go back to object mode. Okay. Let's extrude another face. Right click, select face, and then select this face, and we do the extrude again. When we use the extrude command, there's also a menu popping up like this, and there's some important attributes here that you can change. For example, you can change the thickness of the extrude face, or also you can change the local translate Z, which is like you drag the blue arrow, it's the same function, or do some offset, or you can add the divisions. Okay, all you have to do is drag the mouse back and forth above the attribute here to change the number. This is how we extrude face, the polygon face. Let's create another polygon sphere like this. This time, let me select multiple face like this. Okay, I drag the selection box and select more than one face like this. Then I hit extrude. There is an icon here inside the shelf. It's also for extrude. You can click this one or go to the command here, extrude. Let's click the icon here. You will do the same thing for me. Then I extrude face like this. I drag the blue arrow. If you want this the face extrude separately, you have to go to the window here, and then you click keep face together. Click off. If you turn off the function, then every face you selected, every face you extrude, they go separate way along their normal direction. So you can make separate face extrude like this. Let's do it again. Let's select the other side, and then that's extruded. I can also turn off keep face together again. Then I go to offset. This time, every face offset by themselves. You can do the extrude again and push it inside. Now you can make some complex shape like this just by extruding face. I'm going to show you how to make this bow look like the basket on the right side with the Bridg command. First, you need a model like this which has an open space like this. It's not closed. And it is one object. It's not separate, it's one object. Then we go to edge mode. We select the two edges here and the upside two edges here. It's total 4 edges. Then we go to modeling mode and then add mesh bridge. And we'll create just like a bridge between two ends. If you want to make the handle look like a curve, you have to go to the curve type here. You click it, select blend. Then we add the divisions. The more divisions we add, the smooth the handle will be. So by adding enough edges, like enough divisions, for example 20, and we got a very good looking handle. So this is how a bridge command do to help us to connect two sides of the model. Let's take a look for another example of bridge. Here are two different spheres. Actually, they look the same, but they are separate, so I call them different. Okay. And if you want to bridge them, you cannot bridge two different objects. You have to combine them first. So you have to select two of them. Then you go to modeling, mesh, combine. Combine will combine them into one object. For example, let's open outliner. Before we combine it, there are two separate nodes here, sphere 1 and sphere 2. They are two separate polygons. So I select one by one, select all of them. I go to mesh, combine. That will combine them together into polygon sphere 3. But it will also create two extra nodes, which is the empty group nodes here. They are useless, and they are here because of the history of the combine command. So after combine the model, we select the model and we go to delete by type history to delete history of the model. Now we clear the empty group node and just leave the polygon sphere 3 node here, and they are one piece now. So if I want to connect these two spheres together to create a bridge model between them, I have to create two holes here. So let's go to face mode and select these 4 faces and delete them. Hit delete to delete them. Then I select these 4 faces also and delete them also. Delete. Then we go to edge mode. We select the left side edges here first. Don't select extra face. Don't select extra edges. Just select the edge along the hole. Then we go to the right side. We select the right side edges along the hole also. You can hit 4 to go to the wireframe mode to check is there any extra face. You select them by accident. Then we hit 5 to go back to the solid mode. Then go to Edit Mesh, Bridg. And this will connect them together. And you can add more divisions so you can bend them in the future. Sometimes if you see some blue shade like this, don't worry about it. Let's just go to Hypershade by clicking this sphere here, the icon here. We open Hypershade and we select the model and right click above the Lambert one and go to Assign Initial Shade Group to Selection. That will solve the problem. That's because sometimes it loses the connection for the shaders here, so we just have to tell Maya they're using the same material here. If you hit 3 to see the smooth mode lay glued together like this and become a very interesting shape. I'm going to show you the difference between detach and extract. They act almost the same, they look the same, but actually they are different. First, let's take a look of the detach command. So here's the cube. And if you want to detach something, oh, by the way, let's open Outliner first. I'll show you the difference. Okay. We got one shape node here, which is polygon cube 1. That's one shape node. Okay. Then I go to face mode and select one face here. Go to Edit Mesh, Detach. Watch. After I detach it, it looks like nothing happened, but actually it did. What happened is Maya detached the 4 vertex for you to make them separate, to make the face separate from the other shape. So you can drag this face out of the shape like this, but they are still one shape node. They are still it's called polygon cube 1. Okay, there are still one shape node. But if you extract something, for example, I go to the other side, I go to the face mode, and I select the other side face here. I go to Edit Mesh, Extract. And they create another shape node. And they group them together under polygon cube 1 group. If I click this plus, open the group, I can see 2 different shapes. So one of it is the face I just extracted. I can also drag it out, move it out from the body. But it is a new object. It acts just like a new shape. There are 2 different shapes. So that's the difference between detach and extract. Detach allows you to detach the component of the vertex to make the face separate from the original body, but they are still the same shape node. But extract, it makes the model totally different shape node. How it works. This time we'll see the difference between combine and separate. For example, we got two different shape here. One is the cube, one is the sphere. Let me scale that up like this. And then place it higher a little bit. Okay. Let's go to outliner. You can see there are two different shape nodes. There are two objects. So how do I combine them together and into one shape node? Well, I select all of them, or I click one by one. Then I go to Mesh, Combine. It will combine them together, make it a single shape node. But it will also create two extra nodes here. These two nodes come from the history of the combine command we just did. So by selecting the model and go to edit, delete by type, history, we delete history and we clear the extra empty group node. And we make them one object, and it is one shape node. If I want to separate them into two different nodes, two different shapes, how do I do that? Well, it's easy. Just select it again, and let's go to Mesh, Separate. It will separate them into two different pieces. So they go back to one sphere and one cube. And they are grouped together under the group node. You can, of course, you can move them out of the group by select them, and under outliner, you can just middle mouse drag them out of the group like this, or let me undo it, or you can select one of it, Shift P, select another one, Shift P. You can also ungroup them. Of course, you can do it in a one time, like select all of them and Shift P, and just jerk them out of the group. That's the difference between separate and combine. Separate, combine, it makes two separate objects combined together into one shape node, but separate, the command separate, it separates one piece into two different shape nodes. But it has to be two different shapes like this. They cannot be one piece. If they are one piece, then you cannot use separate to separate them. For example, I cannot separate this sphere into two different shapes because it's one piece. Okay, now totally a very complete model. It's one piece, so you cannot separate them. The only way you can separate them, or let's say extract them, is by selecting face. And select the other half and then go to extract. That's the way how we separate a one piece into two different pieces, like this. Next, bevel. Bevel is the command that allows you to make the model look more detailed. Let's say we got a cross here, and from this distance it looks like okay, but it's not that detailed, or let's say it's not beautiful. So I'm going to add some bevel on the edge to make it more detailed, looks more smooth. Okay. Let's compare it. I duplicate it, Control D, and make it a copy and put it aside. Then we'll compare it later. So let's go back to the original cross here. Then we go to edge mode. We select the edges. We check the selection box like this to select all edges. But we skip the center edges here. So let's go to wireframe mode by hitting 4 and hold Control to deselect the edges here. Then we hit 5 again, go back to the solid mode and check is there any edges that we miss. I don't think so. Okay. Alright, so we just skip the this 8 edges in the center. Then we go to Edit Mesh, Bevel, and click Bevel. Well, it looks much more better, right? It looks much better. Here, you can change the fraction settings. If I go to 0.2 or 0.1, okay, this controls the how big is the edge. Okay, the bevel edges. I usually put like 0.5, something like this, 0.05. The segment controls the smoothness of the bevel. For example, if we increase the segments, the edge will become smoother. And it looks better, of course, but it will also cost you a lot of vertex and make the file bigger. So sometimes I don't use that much. I suggest just use 2 or 3. That will be enough for most cases. Like this. Okay, this time let's check the model and let's compare them together. Compare them with each other. So the crows on the right, from this distance, it looks better, right? It looks better than the left one. The left one, the edges look too sharp and make these models look very cheap. But if we add some bevels on the edge, it will increase the quality. And I use the bevel a lot when I'm modeling, especially under some very important model. I will always use bevels to make the edges look better. Sometimes when we do the modeling, we might come across some bad topology that must be modified. For example, when I do the modeling, the character modeling, and I got a bad edge loop here. It's supposed to go right through here, right through this face, and connect to the other end here to make it a continuous edge loop. So how do we fix it? First, let's go to edge mode and select the 3 edges that I don't want and hit delete to delete them. Then we need to connect these 2 points together with an edge. Let's go to Mesh Tool, Multicut, and click it. You'll see a knife on the monitor. That's your multicut tool. And when you move your mouse across the vertex, it detects the vertex. Or what I usually do is I will click on the edge and hold my left mouse button. Suddenly a point showed up. I can drag the point all the way to the right until it stopped moving. Then I release my left mouse button. That's my first vertex. Then I clicked another edge and hold my left mouse button again. and slide the vertex to this side until stop, and then hit enter. Now I successfully connect these 2 points together by splitting the face into 2 individual polygon face. I hit Q, and now I fix this problem. How do I check it? Well, I can double click on the edge, and Maya will select the continuous edge for me. So it looks like it's perfect continue edge until here. Then it becomes like 3 ways to connect to the other face. Okay, and that's no more. There's no more. Okay. Another way to use the multi-cut tool is I can cut an edge ring on the surface. For example, here, this alien's mouse, there are 2. I think there are few faces here, and I want to add more to make it more smoother. So I go to Mesh Tool, Multi-Cut again, and I'm under Edit mode right now. I move my cursor on the surface here, and this is well, the parallel edges, they parallel with each other here. So when I hit Control, I hold Control, I can see a orange line like this, and it moves with my cursor. It's a preview of the edge I'm going to add. So if I hit middle mouse button click, it will split the face in half. Or if I still keep on holding Control, then I can choose anywhere that I want to place the edge. For example, I place the edge here or here. Okay. With this tool, I make this mouth more smooth, smoother. Another way to use the multi-cut tool is, for example, like this belt. I select this belt and I isolate this selection. You can click this button here. This button will isolate what you selected to make it easier to work with. And if I go to the front view, I hold on my spacebar, right click and go to front view. Then I select the belt. Do the multi-cut again. This time I'll drag just drag it and to make a cut. So I click once here, hold my left mouse button, then I drag a orange line across the model. When I release my mouse button, it will cut the model like this. Let's undo it. Control Z. Let's do another split again. If I left mouse button, click the left mouse button and then hold Shift, I can drag a straight line across the surface. Then I release all my button, and I make a very straight cut here. Okay, this is how we cut a model with multi-cut tool. Again, I hit the ISO select button again and to clear the ISO select situation. There's another way to use multi-cut tool. For example, I want to change the edge flow here to make the edge turns right to connect this side and turn left to connect this side. to make it look like the other side, the edge flow here. So I go to the multi-cut tool again, mesh tool, multi-cut tool. Then I left mouse click, drag the vertex to the end here. Then I clicked the center of the face, or somewhere around here. Click it, and I create a vertex. Then I connect to the right side here, and I hit enter. Then do it again. Drag another vertex and move it up, and this time we connect to the left. Then hit enter again. Okay, now we split the polygon face into 3 quarters. Quarters means there's 2 side face. Okay, and it looks this shape smoother when we hit 3. It looks smoother, and the edge flow looks right. You can also cut face directly through a lot of edges. Let's hit, let's go to multi-cut again. Then click here. Okay, if I click the edge around here, and then drag my mouse button, you'll see there's a orange line across a lot of edges, and a cut face like this. Then hit enter to finish this action. When you accidentally do the wrong cut, you can undo it. There are 2 options to undo it. First one, of course, on Ctrl Z. For example, I do wrong cut, and I want to undo it. Just hit Ctrl Z to go back to 1 step. Go back. Okay. Or we can hit backspace to go back to the last step. Go back to the last step. So you can use Ctrl Z or backspace to undo the cut tool. There are a lot of interesting ways to select components. For example, you can click them, or you can drag a selection box to select them, or you can select the you can use the selection tool here, the pen selection tool, and use your brush to select the components by dragging your mouse and make a selection area. When you're done, you can just edit them. For example, I want to scale them up, or I am going to move them. Okay. It also worked with vertex or edges. Let's go to vertex mode and do the pen selection tool again. I drag my mouse above the surface to select the vertex, and I can move them at the same time. I can edit them. That's the pen selection tool. That will make your work more efficient. So use it wisely. That will help you a lot during your modeling. There are other tricks for selecting objects or components. For example, I got a lot of different objects on this LA model. If I want to select all of them, of course, I just have to drag a selection box, select all of them, then I select all. But what if I want to select most of them and skip some of the models? How do I do that efficiently? For example, I don't like the belt here. I don't like this belt here, but I want the other models. I want to select the other models. So the traditional way is I select all of them and then I hold Control to deselect it, the model that I don't want to select. But that's cost me a lot of time. There's another way to select them. You can pick up the model that you don't want. Then I hold Shift to drag a selection box. This way, I will deselect the model that I have already selected and select the other models. Sometimes it makes your work easier to select those things that you want and avoid something you don't want. Another way to select things carefully is called group selection. It allows you to select components step by step. For example, if I just want to select the vertex and the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the other 7 vertices around here, I can just click the center vertex and hold down Control, right mouse button. Under the pop-out menu, I go to Group Selection and go to Grow. When I release my button, it grows the selection and select the other vertex around here, and I can edit them. It also works with face. Grow selection and select the face related to the face I just selected. How about the edge? It also works with the edge. So it works. It will with the component mode. Let's talk about surface normals. There are 2 different sides of polygon surface, the front side and the back side. But first we have to make sure the 2-side lighting is turned off. When you turn the surface around, you see a black surface. That's the back surface of the polygon. When you modeling, sometimes you might get some revert surface like this, and you want to turn the normals back to the front side to make them look all the same. So let's go to the face mode and select this 4 face with the wrong side. Then we go to Mesh Display, Reverse. Now we fix the problem. But wait, the surfaces still look different. That's because the normal angles. So how do we fix that again? Let's go to Edge mode again and select the bad looking surface edges here. Then let's go to Mesh Display and hit Soften Edge. This command will make the normal angles smoother to make the surface look smoother under the low poly count. And here's another problem here along this edge. Let's do the soften edge again, and that's fix the problem. It happens here also. See, we got a sharp edge, another sharp edge here. So I'm going to fix this problem by go to Edge mode, double click the edge to select Edge Loop. Then I go to Mesh Display, Soften Edge. Inside mouse, let's select these 2 edges I can convert the selection into a ring by go to select, convert selection, and to edge ring. Then we'll select the edge ring, the parallel edges. Then we go to Match Display, Soften Edge, make them smoother. We still got sharp edge around here and here. So if you want, we can do that again. Select. Let's double click the edge here to select the edge loop. Then Shift, double click this edge to select the inner edge loop. And do Mesh Display and Soften Edge. And let's go back to object mode. So from a distance, it looks smooth. But if you close up, they're still low polygons, so they won't look too great. But it looks okay from this distance. Here's another example. We got a few cylinders here, and each of them are different. Okay, this one we got very high polygons, and this one is okay, and this one is a low polygon. We can tell it from the edge. It looks rough, and it looks much detailed. Okay. And the two cylinders on the right, they are the same. They are the same model. Okay. So how do I make this cylinder, the low polygon cylinder, looks like the cylinder on the left side? I can right click and select the edge, select the edge in the center, then I go to Mesh Display, Soften Edge, and turns the surface look smooth. Let's hit F8 to go back to the object mode. Now they are all look the same, but we got a very low polygon here. So they look alright from this distance, but not close-up shot. You can still tell the low polygon is still a rough polygon. And what if I want to turn this display mode back to the hard surface? Again, we select the edge in the center. Then we go to Mesh Display, Harden Edge, and make them go back to the hard edge display. I always use the quick way to do this trick. For example, I select the edge here. If I want to turn them back to the hard surface, I hold Shift, then I right click my mouse button and go to Soften Hard Edge and pick Harden Edge. Okay, now it's Hard Edge. And again, select Edge, hold Shift, right mouse button, and go to Soften Edge. And it changed to Soften Edge again. So we can do it very quick, like this,